You know that feeling when you open your credit card statement and your stomach just drops? Like the number on that screen can't possibly be real. But it is real. And you close the app, put your phone face down, and just sit there. Because what else do you do with a number like that? That was me. $42,000 on credit cards. Not a mortgage, not a car loan, credit cards. The kind of debt that comes from living a life that slowly slipped out of control before you even noticed it was happening. And I want to talk to you today like a real person. Not like someone reading from a financial textbook. Not like someone who has it all figured out and is looking down at you from some polished desk. I want to talk to you like someone who has been exactly where you are right now, sitting with that weight on your chest, wondering if this ever actually gets better. Because I know what it feels like to check your bank balance before you buy groceries. I know what it feels like to decline a dinner invitation because you cannot afford it, but you tell everyone you are just tired. I know what it feels like to smile at family gatherings while internally calculating whether your minimum payment will clear before the due date. That exhaustion is real. That shame is real. And I need you to know that none of it means you are broken or stupid or irresponsible. It means you are human, and nobody ever sat you down and taught you how any of this actually works. So let me tell you what happened, and then let me tell you how I got out. It started so quietly. A card here, a swipe there, a vacation I could not technically afford but told myself I deserved. Medical bills that insurance did not cover, car repairs, rent when money was short 1 month, then the next month, then the month after that. And before I could see the pattern clearly, the interest was piling on top of everything else and the minimum payments were barely touching the actual balance. I was paying hundreds of dollars a month and somehow the number kept going up. Not down. Up. Do you know what 22% interest does to a balance over time? It turns a manageable problem into a monster. And that monster does not sleep. It grows while you sleep. It grows while you work. It grows while you try to figure out how to stop it from growing. I remember one specific night. It was late. Everyone else in my life seemed fine, seemed stable, and I was sitting on the floor of my kitchen, not even at the table, on the floor, with every statement printed out around me trying to understand how I got here. The total across everything came to $42,317. I still remember that number like it is burned into me. And here is the part nobody tells you about debt at that level. It is not just financial. It gets into your relationships. You become short-tempered with the people you love because your mind is never fully present. You are always in the background, doing the math. You stop making long-term plans because the future feels like something that happens to other people. You feel stuck. Not just financially stuck, emotionally stuck. Like your life is on pause and everyone else is moving forward. That is what $42,000 in credit card debt actually costs. Not just the money, the time, the mental energy, the relationships. The version of yourself you could have been if you were not carrying all of this. That is the real price. Now listen, before I go further, I need to say something important. If any part of what I just described sounds familiar, there is something linked in the description below this video. It is a program that helped completely shift my understanding of debt, money, and getting out of both faster than I thought was possible. I am not going to spend a lot of time on it right now because I want to give you real value first. But here is what I will say. Most people will scroll past it. Most people will tell themselves they will come back to it later, and later never comes. The people who actually change their financial situation are the ones who decide in the moment that they have waited long enough. So it is there. The decision is yours. Now let me take you back. I hit a point where I had 3 options in front of me. I could keep doing what I was doing and watch the number keep climbing. I could declare bankruptcy and carry that shadow for years. Or I could find a completely different way of looking at the problem and actually solve it. I chose the third option, and it started with understanding something that changed everything for me. The minimum payment trap is designed to keep you paying forever. Most people do not realize that if you carry a $10,000 balance at 20% interest and only pay the minimum each month, you will spend over 27 years paying it off and pay more than $25,000 in interest alone on $10,000. That is not a coincidence. That is a system that profits from you staying exactly where you are. Once I understood that, something shifted. Anger, actually. And anger can be useful if you direct it the right way. I started with what the people who helped me called a full picture audit, not just looking at the balances but looking at every single charge, every subscription, every automatic renewal, every fee that I had stopped even noticing. What I found shocked me. I was spending over $400 a month on things I did not actively choose anymore, things I had forgotten about, things I had signed up for and never canceled. That $400, redirected intentionally, became the beginning of my way out. Here is a strategy that fundamentally changed my repayment speed. It is called the avalanche method. You rank every debt by interest rate, highest to lowest. You pay the minimum on everything except the highest interest debt. On that one, you throw every extra dollar you can find. Once that card is gone, you take everything you were paying on it and you roll it into the next one. The momentum builds, The timeline shrinks, the balance drops in a way that actually feels real. In 12 months using this approach combined with a series of other financial moves I had never considered before, I eliminated over $18,000 of that debt. Not by getting a second job, not by some miracle windfall, by understanding exactly how money moves and making deliberate decisions instead of reactive ones. People around me started asking what was different. They could see it, not just in my bank account, but in me. I stopped being the person who flinched every time my phone buzzed. I stopped dreading Mondays because at least at work I could avoid thinking about it. I started sleeping through the night again. Actually sleeping. That alone was worth more than I can put into words. The psychological shift that happened at the halfway point was something I was not prepared for. When the balance dropped below $20,000 for the first time, I sat in my car and cried. Not from sadness, from something that felt like permission. Permission to believe that this was actually going to work. By month 22, I made a payment that brought the total to zero, not almost zero, zero. And I want to describe what that moment actually felt like because I think you deserve to know what is waiting on the other side of this. It did not feel like fireworks. It felt like silence. A kind of quiet that I had not experienced in years because for years there had always been this background noise in my mind, this constant low hum of financial anxiety. And that day, it stopped. I sat with that silence and I just breathed. I want to be very clear about something because I know what some of you might be thinking right now. You might be thinking, this sounds great, but my situation is different. My debt is higher, my income is lower, I have tried before and it did not work. I get it. I have thought every single one of those things. But here is what I know from the other side. The problem is never really the debt itself. The problem is the system of thinking you are operating inside. When that shifts, everything else shifts with it. I have spoken with people who eliminated six-figure debt. People who were told by financial advisors that bankruptcy was their only path. People who had tried and failed multiple times before they found the right structure and the right information at the right time. The difference between the people who got out and the people who stayed stuck was not income. It was not luck. It was the decision to stop waiting for something to change on its own and to actually engage with a method that works. Financial freedom is not an abstract concept. It is a concrete, measurable, achievable state that millions of people have reached from positions much worse than the one you might be in right now. The math exists. The methods exist. What has been missing is probably the clarity and the structure to apply them in a way that actually fits your life. Here is where I want to leave you. Not with a list of tips, not with a motivational quote that fades by tomorrow morning. I want to leave you with a decision point. There is a program linked in the description below this video. It is the closest thing I can point you toward that captures the structure, the strategy, and the mindset framework that changed everything for me. I do not say that lightly. I say it because I genuinely believe that the right information at the right moment can collapse what would otherwise take you years into something that takes months. Most people will keep telling themselves that tomorrow is a better day to start. And tomorrow becomes next week. And next week becomes next year. And nothing changes. The people who are on the other side of this, the ones sleeping through the night, the ones with the quiet in their minds, they are not smarter than you. They are not luckier than you. They just stopped waiting. You already know what staying where you are feels like. You have been feeling it. The question is whether you are willing to find out what the other side feels like. That program in the description is the next step if you are ready to take it. And I hope you are. Because you deserve that silence. You deserve that breath. You deserve to sit in your car one day and cry from relief instead of dread. This is not the end of a video. This is the beginning of something that actually changes